It's homecoming, and the Florida Gators need to beat the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free reviews in the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Friday. I'm Brandon Olson. Find all my written work about the Florida Gators at swampsignal.substack.com. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. And look, I'm saying this is a must-win game, right? I know everybody's talking about the Billy Napier probably getting fired news that came out the other day, and I get it, I do. Here's the thing. We'll talk about that. Like we'll have plenty of time to talk about Billy Napier. Florida Gators still strap up their helmets tomorrow. Those players still got plays to go out there. Still got film to put out. We're still going to talk about the games here. I do think it's a must-win if you want to have even a chance at getting bowl eligible. You will have 5 games after this one. If you've got 3 wins, you got to win 3 of those last 5. Not saying that it's going to happen, but not saying it won't happen, especially, with an interim. Things change when coaching changes. But you're facing Mississippi State this weekend, and Jeff Lebby done a pretty good job at Mississippi State, especially considering it's Mississippi State. He has yet to win an SEC game, which means that, Florida under Billy Napier is known for being the school where it's like, oh, hey, this hasn't happened in a long time. Should we make it happen? And so, there's that. But I do think that when we're talking about potentially making a bowl game, which I still think is possible, right? I still think this is a good roster. If coaching improves, which hopefully, then you should win there. But Mississippi State under Jeff Lebby runs a veer and shoot. I call it the Bryles spread. I don't care what you want to call it, but I call this little tree the Mississippi States, the Tennessees, the USFs, and there's a bunch of other schools, but those are the ones that we're talking about because they're on Florida's schedule. Those are like the Bryles spread style offenses where the best way to stop it is on the interior. It really is because and we've talked about this with the hypo offense before, which has evolved quite a bit this year. So it's opened up a bit more. It's not as Mickey Mouse, but they're going to spread you out as much as possible. And depending on which hash mark you're on, that could be really wide to some sides, but they're going to spread you out as much as possible defensively, because with how much you have to spread out, one, you have to cover and defend all that space between the receiver and the offensive line. So like the receiver, like if you're on the left hash and the receiver's on the far right, that's a lot of distance between those receivers and that offensive line. And they're coming underneath, coming downhill. You got to cover that, make a play in that space. Like they make it really difficult there. And so defenses typically become lighter in the box. And by becoming lighter in the box, that creates more rushing lanes for this offense. And that's what they're trying to do, right? Like I know that a lot of people look at the Heupel, the Art Briles when he was at Baylor. People look at Kendall Briles and like they see a lot of what that offense looks like, and they go, all right, well, when you're that spread out, you're really a passing heavy offense. And that's not entirely true. Like people talk about them as if they're an air raid. That's not true. They spread you out like that and they attack vertically and they'll attack quickly underneath, but they're doing that so that you have to defend those areas so they can crush you on the ground. Like Mike Leach, a true air raid genius, evil genius, maybe even at that point, he was not spreading you out and attacking you that way to create the rushing lane. He was doing that because he wanted to do that. This Bryles spread will spread you out and attack those lanes so that you have to defend them, and so they have an easier time running the football. And so on the interior, you need to have someone that can hold their ground against against that rush, against that offensive line, eat up 2 blockers, and then honestly, your linebackers, which Florida's linebackers have been playing at an incredible level. Myles Graham is playing at all SEC level, maybe all American level. And I say maybe because I don't know what all the other linebackers outside of the conference are doing, but I do know that, well, Myles Graham's been playing damn good football, like elite level linebacker play lately. Except maybe the Texas A&M game. I don't think anybody really played stellar there. I think they settled in, but I don't think they played stellar. But your defensive line, especially on the interior, needs to eat up those blocks and allow your linebackers to come up and make plays. Because the plays will be there to make, right? And they'll be there to make by the linebackers. Because Mississippi State, they're going to run a lot of duo, which is they're going to double up on the interior. And they're going to basically say, hey, we're going to line it up so that it's our running back, your linebacker, and our running back has multiple lanes to jump through if he wants to. And I've had this conversation about duo before where I've spoken to NFL running backs and they're big, like that. They love duo. Everyone loves duo right now. It's the hottest trend. And everything's a trend in football. It's fine to call it a trend. And it's the hottest trend right now. And teams come up, running backs come up to the line, and then they can manipulate the linebacker. That's what NFL running backs have told me. It's like they love it because if you're good at running duo as a running back, you can manipulate linebackers and attack them. And so lane discipline is going to be huge here for the Florida Gators defense. Winning on the interior, stopping that run, because again, they're trying to create these rushing lanes, but also generating an interior pass rush. Quickest way from point A to point B, straight line. That's why teams are prioritizing interior pass rushing now, is because the quickest way from point A to point B is a straight line, and doing that from the interior is quicker than doing it from the edge. On the edge, you're wrapping around, looping, not a straight line. On the interior, you're coming downhill, and so that's why teams are really prioritizing that interior pass rush. And Blake Shapen knows how to use his legs. He's not like a true, like, oh, I'm going to take this and make you pay consistently. He can make you pay a little bit, but he's not going to be like Blake Shapen's not going to beat you with his legs. I think that's the better way to put it, is that, yeah, Blake Shapen not beating you with his legs. He'll pick up chunk first downs. He'll pick up, maybe not chunk first downs, but he'll pick up key first downs with his legs if you let him. He'll pick up just yards. If you're giving him that space, like, he'll take it. He'll make you pay there a little bit, but they're not going to win the game because of his legs. He's not an insane athlete. You generate an interior pass rush, you get after him, and you're going to flush him out, and he's not going to be able to operate fully there. Like, he's not someone who's great out of structure. We spoke about this on Wednesday, I think it was, with Jaron from Locked On Mississippi State, and when we were speaking about this, we were looking like Blake Shapen's big plus is he's going to keep your offense on schedule, on task, on target. And with this offense, that's very important. And so that's his job. Like, he's not going out there to play hero ball. He's going out there to execute his job. And his job, by the way, when throwing the football, complete the easy stuff underneath and take the top off the defense. And we're going to talk about that when we get back with Locked On Gators. It's almost the weekend, and it's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. And I'm not picking a damn Florida Gator. I said this before. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. No one delivered like that, right? No one delivers like that outside of DoorDash, and no one on the Florida Gators football team delivered like that against Texas A&M. So they don't get the shout out. That's what we're doing. I know I had a comment in the post-game live show on Saturday, like, I can't believe you did it. It made me crack up. And I said, well, I think that DoorDash delivers better than any Florida Gator did against Texas A&M. No, I'm not going to shout you out if you don't deserve it. That's not how life works, right? This is the SEC. It just means more. DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday that you order. You stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. And when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% of your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free. We have us in the podcast and on YouTube. And like I said, part of Blake Shapen's job is taking the top off the defense, throwing the football. Florida has offensively done a better job of creating explosive plays lately. Still haven't had the long run plays. In fact, Florida is near the bottom. I think Florida has 3 rushes of 20-plus yards this year. Not a good area to be in. But Florida's offense has done a good job of creating explosive, or better job. I'm not going to say good, better job of creating explosive plays lately. However, Mississippi State lives off of them. I'm not saying, oh yeah, like I know against Texas and Texas A&M, I was like, you need to. Well, Texas, I said to win the explosive battle. Texas A&M, I said keep that close, that explosive battle close, because they create a lot of explosives as well. Mississippi State lives off of explosive plays. Okay, that's it. That's what they are. That's what they're doing. No team in the SEC has more plays of 40-plus passing yards. None. Including like Ole Miss, who everybody talks about, and they go, oh, that explosive offense, like that's what Lane Kiffin's known for. That's what he's doing. And I feel like we've been talking about this, and I've been trying to say no team in the country, has more explosive passing plays than Mississippi State, or more plays of 40-plus yards than Mississippi State in the passing game. Not Ole Miss, not Ohio State, not any team that you could think of. None of them have more passing plays of 40-plus yards than Mississippi State. That's what they're doing. And I compare them to Ole Miss because in-state to Mississippi State, everyone thinks of them as the high-powered team there. Nope. Ole Miss right now is playing sustainable offense and damn good defense, and that's what's getting done for them. But Mississippi State, they're the explosive passing attack now. Again, no team in the SEC, no team in the country has more passing plays of 40-plus yards. Think that's a pretty clear indicator of where I'm headed at, because Florida's defense last week didn't do an awesome job. First play of the game for Texas A&M was a bomb thrown to Mario Craver. Brennan Thompson, wide receiver for Mississippi State, I'm going to say one of the fastest players in the SEC, which, I mean, by that alone, this is one of the fastest players in the country, right? Brennan Thompson has had a 40-plus yard catch in 4 out of 6 games this year. He is living off of the deep ball. Like, it's insane. He's just balling out there, which good for him, right? But yeah, so he is just having these insanely long plays consistently because he's a great athlete. And once he's like that receiver where you talk about, where you go, if he's leaving, he's leaving. It's like that. It's like once he's next to a DB, a lot of times Blake Shapen can just go, oh, I'm just going to take the deep shot here, and it's going to work. He's got 5 catches this season of 40-plus yards because he's I mean, look, let's just be honest. He's just like that. Like he's fast as hell. He's really tough to contain, really tough to guard. And when you've got a rushing game that is working, you got to come down, right, and defend that. And so that's where Mississippi State plays complementary. Like I mentioned, they're trying to spread you out, attack underneath, so they get rushing lanes. And once the rushing game starts working, they'll take the top off the defense. I expect them to try to take the top off the defense right away, right? And every team should. Jordan Castell right now is listed as questionable for the game. When he's been on the field, he's not been good in coverage this year. Texas had deep shots that they missed on because of pressure. Texas A&M hit on those deep shots. Like we've seen all year, there's been these lapses in coverage where guys are open downfield, but either pass rush gets there and protects you. Quarterbacks could just miss because they're college quarterbacks. For any reason, whatever that reason may be, Florida hasn't been forced to pay for those mistakes. Okay. Can't let it happen this time. Can't let it happen this time if you're Florida. Again, Brennan Thompson, elite deep threat. And over the middle of the field, Seydou Traore has pop play potential. I will say this, hasn't really connected on them lately, but they're there is my, like Seydou Traore, his passing game, his receiving game is there. It's just a matter of if they can actually connect on them, if Blake Shapen has the time. But Traore, I mean, look, if you're a long-time Locked On Gators listener, you recognize that name, hopefully. Because when Seydou Traore hit the transfer portal out of Arkansas State in, I think it was after the 2022 season, might have been after the 2023 season. I think it was 2022. We did a full show here on Locked On Gators about him. And I was like, look, this guy is the dynamic receiving threat at tight end that you can get for Florida, that he could fit the offense. He can make the explosive plays for this team. Go pursue him, go get him. They didn't, of course. I still think he's a damn good receiving tight end. I don't know about, NFL, but we're talking about someone that can come in and produce in college as a tight end receiver. Yep, that's him. And so they've got a guy that, again, hasn't connected lately. I don't think it's necessarily his fault. It hasn't connected lately, but he's there. He's a big-time threat downfield. And if I'm an offense, I'm looking at Florida Gators linebackers, and I'm going, look, they've done a damn good job defending the run, making tackles in the open field. But there have been times where they've been caught with their eyes in the backfield in coverage. Childs has had a few plays where I'm like, I don't know how he didn't get called for pass interference there, or defensive holding at the least. But if I've got a dynamic receiving tight end, which Florida hasn't faced much of this year, I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to try to figure it out, and I'm going to see what I can do there. And so I expect Mississippi State to do that, especially if they want to put him into the slot or out wide and try to, bring the linebackers out into space more, which is what I expect them to do at certain points. I expect them to challenge there. And that might not be as explosive, but those are the chunk first downs that are going to be killer if they convert on them. But again, for some reason, Blake Shapen and Seydou Traore have had a little bit of an issue, I guess, connecting lately. I don't know what it is. I feel like the targets haven't even been there, but I'm cool with it. You don't want to hit them? Cool with me. I think it's a dynamic tight end. Limit him. Great job. We are going to talk about what the Florida Gators offense needs to do and why I am more comfortable saying that Florida is going to win this game when we get back with Locked On Gators. What do you do when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex? Right? What do you get with that? The answer is confidence. Pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. That's exactly where Rougiette Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence, right? Go Long combines two doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula, so you can go the distance. If you're ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom, head to rugiet.com and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. Make sure you use our code so they know exactly who sent you. And the NFL season is here. Congratulations, Jags and Bucks fans. You're having at least a successful time, at least a fun time. Can't relate. FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, you put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. If you want to bet on Florida to cover the spread, you can do that. I don't know if I would do that, but you can consider it at least. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. And I mentioned before the break that there is something that has me more confident in Florida is going to win this game, and that is that Mississippi State has the worst run defense that Florida has played so far this year outside of Long Island. They don't count. And that's notable, right? We are, as the kids say, hashtag noticing. I'm never going to do that again. Don't worry about that. Mississippi State's allowing over 4 yards per carry at about 4.3 yards per. And Florida hasn't played a defense allowing more than 3.3 yards per yet. That's what it's like. Like, Florida has not had a good offense, right? But they've also been playing good defenses. I'll give them the credit of, hey, the offense isn't working when they're facing good defenses. Here's the thing. You're in the SEC. 1, 2, you've had looks, you just haven't converted. And 3, it's year 4. Sorry. But Florida hasn't played a team with a run defense this poor since Long Island. And we don't even count that, right? Because that was Long Island. You don't get credit for winning that game. So Mississippi State's run defense, worst you've seen so far. That's big for Florida. And last week, Matt Gallatin from Locked On Aggies mentioned, Texas A&M had issues on the second level dealing with physical runners like Jaden Baugh. The issue with Florida was that, Florida didn't really get runs to the second level. That's what the issue was. Yes, Texas A&M in the second level and third level have struggled dealing with these physical backs. The issue is that Florida didn't get to the second level. That's it. Like Texas A&M's first level dominated to such a level or to such an extent that Florida's run game never really got in space there. I don't think that's going to be the same issue this time. I think Florida will be able to create those rushing lanes, and that's what Florida's offense is going to do, right? Whether you're running duo or inside zone even, you're going to have a linebacker where you go, hey, we're going to try to get this linebacker against you one-on-one. Because that's what a lot of this run game is, right? Like a lot of this run game isn't, oh, yeah, we're just going to block everyone in the first level, and then we're also going to block everyone in the second level. Like, a lot of this run game is we're going to, like, an inside zone, say, okay, Austin Barber is going to have that edge. Najee Harris and Jake Slaughter are going to have this interior defensive lineman, and then Jake Slaughter is going to climb to take on the I don't care about it being weak side, strong side. But Jake Slaughter is going to climb to take on the second level, a linebacker in the second level. Damian George is going to take another interior player on his own. Whoever is at right tackle is going to take that edge player. And then you go, okay, so we've got all 4 defensive players, all 4 defensive line players accounted for. We've got Jake Slaughter going to pick up a player on the second level. That means that you've probably got one unblocked linebacker somewhere. And for Jaden Baugh, that's fine. Or for any running back, you're going to get up there, you're going to get through the lane that we're creating for you, and then you just got to make that man miss. That's what at some point, we're trying to create a one-on-one with duo that I've mentioned before. It's like, okay, well, you've got that linebacker coming up. You're going to press the line, see if he's going to go into either gap that you can then run away from, But if he does meet you in the lane, like, it's up to you to make a man miss. That's what the run game is right now. It's in just football. We're creating these opportunities where we say, hey, that's the guy you need to stop, or that's the guy you need to make miss. That's it. Florida can do that. Like you give Jaden Baugh a chance, which they should be able to do against Mississippi State. He's going to take full opportunity, full advantage of that opportunity. That's it. It's also going to be huge for Florida's defense to run the football. Okay? Like, if Florida is successfully running the football, they're going to keep Mississippi State's offense off the field. More importantly, keep their own defense off the field. We saw Florida struggle a few times when teams went tempo. USF, Miami did it a little bit. But we've seen Florida struggle when teams go tempo. And I mean, look, against USF, it was the big one was the miscommunication that led to a 66-yard touchdown, something like that. And ended up being very impactful in the score, right? Because you lost by 2, which the safety also didn't help you. But like, we saw Florida struggle there. And on that play, Billy Napier was like, we had the call in. Like, they were looking to the sideline for something else, but we had the call in to the defense. Like, we were prepared for that. They weren't. And so I think that's critical for Florida to go, all right, well, you've got to be on the ball here because Mississippi State's going to go up tempo. Like, they're trying to strike fast, strike hard. That's why on early downs, they're going to take a deep shot. Or if you're defending the deep shot, they'll try to take a quick hitter underneath or run the football. Like, they're going to take what you give them and try to make the most of it. You got to take that away from them. I think Mississippi State's a team where you go, all right, we're going to run the football a lot. Like, for Florida, you're going to run the football a lot. Keep your defense fresh. And I don't think Mississippi State's the type of team where they want to have these long, sustained drives. They're trying to go quick. If your defense is fresh, which they need to be in order to stop this offense and limit this offense, that's huge. Mississippi State loses the time of possession battle worse than any team in the SEC. Right? That's what the stats say. Is that, they got like 25 minutes of possession every game. And you go, oh, so that's bad for them. And it's like, no, it's not. That's what they want. They're trying to go up-tempo, quick strike offense. Like, they're trying to go up-tempo, explosive plays. They don't necessarily give a damn about being on offense for a long time. They care about putting up points as quickly as they can. That's it. You run the football. You keep your defense fresh. You give them the opportunity to get those stops early on. And you should be able to run the football very effectively. This should be one of Jaden Baugh's most productive football games that he's played this year. Mississippi State, not good at stopping the run. Make them pay for it. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, every day. We are available daily and free by visiting the podcast and on YouTube. We will be back tomorrow immediately following this game. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI and swampsignal.substack.com if you want Florida Gators written work. And I'll see you all next time.